The cardboard box in her hands didn't look heavy. It only seemed heavy because she couldn't keep a steady grip on it. I was standing at the edge of my yard, sunlight burning my eyes, sweat running down my neck from cutting ivy along the fence between our houses. For 3 days I had been fixing that narrow strip of land, trying to turn my old fixer-upper into something that finally felt like home. For 3 days, no car had pulled into her driveway. Only her. Sometimes she paced on the porch. Sometimes she checked her phone. Sometimes she disappeared inside suddenly, like someone had pulled her back with an invisible string. But today was different. She stood frozen at the top step holding that box. Her chin was lifted. A smile was on her face, but it never reached her shoulders. Those stayed tight, stiff, like she was bracing for impact. She bent slightly, adjusted her grip, nearly dropped it again. I deliberately set my head shears down in the grass so she could see both of my hands were empty. Then I walked closer and stopped at the edge of her walkway, close enough to help, far enough not to invade. "Need a hand?" I asked, not loudly. Just enough for her to hear. She still jumped. Her head snapped toward me. Dark waves of hair shifted over her shoulder. She was maybe late 30s. Polished. The kind of beauty people assume comes with emotional armor. Right now, that armor had cracks. "I'm fine," she said. The box slid again. "I'm Jackson," I said, wiping dirt on my gray shirt. "Just bought the place next door. I've got 10 minutes if you want help." Her eyes flicked to my truck. Then to my hands. Then down the street. Left. Right. Left again. Like she was waiting for a car to appear and decide something for her. "My husband's on a trip," she finally said. The way she said it sounded rehearsed. "He doesn't like things moved. But I need to move some furniture. Today." It was Tuesday. Whatever urgency she felt wasn't about the weekend. She stepped down one stair. I caught the scent of vanilla and clean laundry. "Here," she said, tilting the box toward me. Our fingers brushed. She inhaled sharply and pulled her hand back like she'd touched a flame. "Thanks. You waiting on someone?" I asked gently, nodding toward the street. "No, too fast." I didn't push. Inside her house, everything was expensive and perfectly arranged. Couch pillows aligned like soldiers. Coffee table angled just right. Not a single thing out of place, which somehow made the room feel wrong. Then I saw it. In the center of the living room stood a massive dark oak armoire. Heavy. Ornate. The kind of furniture someone buys to show power, not comfort. "That," she said quietly. "I want it gone." I examined it. Solid wood. Easily 300 pounds. "I'll move it." "You handle doors." When I tipped it forward, I saw the wall behind it. Fresh drywall patch. New. Sloppy. Too new. Her jaw tightened when she saw it. "He bought that," she whispered. "Loved it." "It's ugly," I said simply. She blinked. Then laughed, small, surprised, real. We slid it into the garage. Later that evening, at exactly 6 p.m., her kitchen lights came on. I watched from my porch. She stood stiffly with a phone pressed to her ear. The call lasted a long time. Her shoulders never relaxed. Days passed. She brought coffee to the fence one morning. Oversized sunglasses. A scarf around her neck despite the heat. When the scarf slipped, I saw a fading yellow bruise near her collarbone. I didn't ask. "I used to garden," she said quietly. I've got extra hydrangeas coming, I lied gently. Want them? Her voice softened when she repeated the word. Hydrangeas. Saturday, I said. If a silver Mercedes pulls in, she whispered, you leave. Understood. Saturday it rained. She was outside anyway, pulling weeds in the mud like she was punishing the earth. Then I saw it, a small camera mounted under the roof corner. He watches the feeds, she said. Heat spread through my chest. I climbed up and cut the wire. Storm damage, I said calmly. Inside, we found more. A hidden line behind the patched drywall. An extra wire inside the outlet. A small black recording module hidden inside the smoke detector. He's been listening, she whispered. Not anymore. She photographed everything. Evidence. Proof. 2 weeks later, he filed for divorce. Accused her of adultery. Named me. He froze her accounts. Then he showed up, with a moving truck and a silver Mercedes. He tried to intimidate. Threatened lawsuits. Raised his hand in anger. I stopped his wrist midair. She stood beside me, not behind. I donated it, she said about the furniture. It was a bluff. He left furious. That night, someone cut her power. I caught a kid near the meter box and chased him off. We knew who sent him. Later, in the garage, she looked at the armoire. I want it gone. For real. So we destroyed it. Board by board. She swung the hammer. Every strike sounded like a word she had never been allowed to say. When it finally collapsed into splinters, she looked at the wreckage and said, He doesn't own me. No, I answered. He doesn't. She kissed me, then not out of fear. Out of decision. Stay, she whispered. I did. Weeks later, she called the sheriff. Filed for a restraining order. Hired a strong lawyer. Richard wanted to settle. He kept his money. She kept the house. And her freedom. 6 weeks later, fall arrived quietly. The hydrangeas bloomed bright against the cool air. I built her a kitchen island from reclaimed oak. The divorce finalized that afternoon. How do you feel? I asked. Like I can breathe, she said. She kissed me in plain sight through the window. No hiding. No whispering. Just freedom. My life used to be work and an empty house. Now it was sawdust on my skin. Vanilla in the air. Hydrangeas in the yard. And her hand in mine, steady, strong, unafraid. And this time, no one could take it away. Freedom doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly. 3 weeks after the divorce papers were signed, the house felt different. Not bigger. Not smaller. Just lighter. Like the walls themselves had exhaled. Elena started sleeping with the windows cracked open. No more pacing at 6 p.m. No more jumping at headlights. No more checking cameras that weren't there. But freedom has a strange habit. It tests you before it settles. It happened on a Thursday afternoon. I was staining the back railing of the deck when my phone buzzed. It was Elena. Not a call. A single text. He's outside. My chest tightened. I dropped the brush and walked straight through the gate into her yard. I didn't rush. Didn't run. Calm looked stronger than panic. A black SUV idled at the curb. Not the silver Mercedes. Different car. Tinted windows. Richard stood beside it, hands in his coat pockets like he was waiting for a business meeting instead of violating a restraining order. Elena stood on her porch. Not hiding. Not inside. Standing. I stepped up beside her. He smiled like he hadn't done anything wrong. I just wanted to talk, he said smoothly. You have lawyers for that, Elena replied. Her voice didn't shake. That was new. He looked at me like I was gum on his shoe. You think you won? He said to her. She didn't answer. Because she didn't need to. He took one slow step toward the walkway. That order doesn't mean I can't drive down my own street. I pulled out my phone. Not dramatic. Just visible. You're within 50 yards, I said calmly. Keep walking. His jaw tightened. He wasn't used to being told no. Especially not by her. Especially not by someone like me. For a second, I saw it. Not anger. Fear. Not of me. Of losing control permanently. He leaned closer to Elena. You'll come back, he said softly. They always do. Elena looked him dead in the eyes. No, she said. That one word hit harder than any slap. He stared at her like she had spoken a foreign language. Then he got in his SUV and drove away. No shouting. No threats. Just silence. That night, Elena didn't pace. She didn't lock and relock the doors. She didn't check the windows 5 times. Instead, she stood in the kitchen while I finished installing the last cabinet hinge. Do you think he'll stop? She asked. No, I said honestly. But he'll get tired. She studied me. You're not afraid of him. I am, I admitted. I just don't let it make decisions. That seemed to mean something to her. 2 weeks later, the sheriff called. Richard had violated the restraining order again, different incident, different location. This time there were consequences. Fines. Court warnings. Business scrutiny. Men like him survive on reputation. And his was cracking. The real shift came one evening. When Elena did something small. Something ordinary. She left the front door open while watering the hydrangeas. Open. No fear. No checking over her shoulder. Just watering flowers at sunset. I watched from the deck. She caught me staring. What? She asked, smiling. You left the door open. She looked back at it. Oh. Then she shrugged. I forgot. That was the moment. Not the courtroom. Not the restraining order. Not the destroyed armoire. Forgetting to be afraid. Months passed. The garden filled in. The deck weathered beautifully. Marcus still complained about unpaid invoices but stayed for dinner anyway. And one evening, while sitting on the back steps under soft yellow lights, Elena rested her head against my shoulder and said, You know what the strangest part is? What? I don't feel rescued. I looked at her. I feel like I rescued myself. I smiled. Good, I said. That was always the point. She laced her fingers through mine, steady, warm, intentional. The kind of touch that isn't asking to be saved. Just choosing to stay. Freedom isn't loud. It's quiet mornings. Unlocked doors. Gardens that grow back. Hands that don't shake. And sometimes, it's just knowing that if someone tries to turn off your lights again, you're not standing in the dark alone.